10 yards further up the pitch. We engaged Leeds more in their own half. Maitland-Niles was leading the press, and Nketiah, all-round game was very good, looked sharp. In the end, it was an excellent goal. Like, the first touch was very good, second touch was brilliant, third touch was a little bit wobbly. Just enough, exactly. So I think Arteta will be very, very well pleased at the way that his team has taken on board his instructions from half-time.
Perry, many thanks tonight.
Pleasure.
Enjoyed it tonight. Much more discussion and chat and analysis and social media reaction to come from Eddie and David. Be interesting to get their thoughts on tonight's win through to the quarter-finals of the League Cup. Full-time here, it has finished. Arsenal 2, Leeds 0.
Thanks, Dan. Thanks, Perry. Terrific commentary. As always, Arsenal win 2-0 then. They're into the quarter-finals of the Carabao Cup. Very exciting. Look, it wasn't a brilliant performance, but job done against a Leeds United first team.
Yeah, absolutely. And a side that in the first half showed quite a dangerous threat on the counter. We talked about them overcoming it, hopefully at half-time, tweaking it, and I think they did. It wasn't a rip-roaring game, and no one had a rip-roaring performance in it, but it was steady enough. I think second half showed what you can achieve by sitting in the right positions and just stopping the opposition.
Was that the key? Because in the first half, we didn't really have much going forward in terms of combination play. They looked really dangerous on the counter. In the second half, they just didn't threaten Arsenal at all. What were the tweaks? Was it that the central midfield were much more disciplined, that the centre-halves got their distances right? How do you explain that?
Absolutely. I think the second half, Ainsley Maitland-Niles and Mo El-Neni had a much more stabilised performance in the fact of where they travelled on the pitch. They didn't run into areas where they got into trouble. I think we saw Ainsley go into the sort of an attacking left position once, and when the ball sprang out, Leeds got to us, and then he quickly got back in position, recovered, and that didn't happen again. So that definitely was key. But I think in doing that, we did sort of sacrifice a little bit of forward play. But that's to be expected. But we got the goals. Listen, great substitution. You've got to say it. I was really disappointed when I saw Ben White hobbling off, but hopefully that's not too bad. But, you know, changed the game, didn't it?
Yeah, it's a worry, isn't it, when you see a definite first choice like Ben White. He's just striking up that excellent partnership with Gabriel in the Premier League, and then he hobbles off injured. Let's hope it's a precaution, but we both looked at each other when Rob Holding came off towards the end and thought,
is that a precaution for the precaution?
Exactly. I mean, is that your sense there?
But no, that's good management, and I think hopefully Ben White is managing himself well in that position. He's aware why he's playing in that game. You know, we don't know what went on in the beginning because we think Chambers was going to start the game, but he didn't. But Ben White's been put in there. He's obviously doing the job, but he knows he's going to be involved against Leicester. So he's thinking, if I have took a little one now, and it could well have been when we saw him get clipped earlier on. We saw him, didn't we, in the first half, get that clip. So it could be just that fatiguing a little bit, and he's playing it safe. But at the end of the day, when you go 1-0 up after that, you've got to say the rest of the changes, the way the team played second half, was better game management.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Although it didn't excite the fans as much, it was better game management.
No, I agree. I think game management is a good shout. Clean sheet mentality is another sort of footballing phrase that we like to use. It's 5 clean sheets in 8 games now in all competitions. You cast your mind back to the Manchester City game, to Chelsea. Tough. Didn't look at all secure at the back. That is beginning to come, isn't it?
Well, yeah, I will say changes in the team, wholesale changes, did bring confusion in defence at times. But what we had throughout the game was we had the enthusiasm of players, and they were working hard enough to get back on the right side of the forwards. We saw numerous times when Leeds in the first half attacked, we saw Rob Holding recovering, getting himself between the goal and the ball. Suarez doing it, even though he couldn't make a challenge. We saw them doing the right things, even though if it's a little bit late.
Yeah. So is it fair to say that in terms of individual performances, no one really stuck their hand up and said, you've got to pick me tonight? Because they were all, but everybody showed a good attitude, excellent application. So they'll all come out of it with the manager pleased with what they've done. Yeah. But would it also be fair to say that none of them have convinced Arteta that they have to play at the weekend.
So let's look at Eddie Nketiah, for example. Yeah, his stats look pretty good. You know, he's had his passing accuracy has been pretty decent. It's been up in the 80s. He's had as many or more passes than Oba does in a game. And he's scored a wonderful goal. We could, you know, from his point of view, it is a wonderful goal. Although it's scuffed in, statistically he's done enough in this team, but he didn't set the world on fire while he did it. So it's not enough for him to get considered in the next performance. Although he's ticked a few boxes, you know, and you've got to be in the right position to score the goals. And we know it was a little bit of a shinner, but how he made the goal, the effort to get to that ball, to lift it over the keeper and control it after. I could see he was under pressure because I would have been, I'd have had a nosebleed if I was there anyway, Clarkie. But, you know, things were done right today, but without the brilliance that makes you go home with a warm feeling. You're through to the next round, you've done a job, and the players can be proud of themselves.
Exactly, I think so. The draw, by the way, I understand is on Soccer AM this weekend coming. The quarter-final ties will be played in the week before Christmas. So we've got a little bit of a breather now before we get to the last 8. So keep your eyes peeled to see who the Gunners face. You know, in the last 8, and let you get to that stage of the competition, you can almost see the arch, can't you, in the distance. Right, let's check out some of the things that we learned from tonight's performance. Here is piece number 1. Arsenal won comfortably despite producing a disjointed performance. I mean, is that fair to say? Let's go to some of the tweets. Steve F says, overall professional performance like that with so many changes, still played with control and structure. That's true. Mo has been on. I know Mo, he's a good lad. Thought we matched the expected off-the-ball intensity of Leeds, but too often we picked the wrong option when we had the ball. Not unfair that. Deserved the win though, and like to see Mikel take this opportunity to win a trophy, take it seriously. I agree. I think that he does want to win this competition. But it's a case, is it not a case of like, let's just do enough to get into the semi-finals and then we'll play the number 1
team? So we've talked about game management. Is it competition management a little bit? Because he can't throw all his eggs in one basket, not for the Carabao. No. You know, you can't do that. He's got a consideration to make at the moment because the team are improving in the league, and you don't want to affect that because we're only 5-6 points off of being in one of those positions that we've coveted. You know, one of those top 4 or 5 positions.
It's 90 minutes in the bag for 9 players that didn't play at the weekend.
Absolutely.
And that 90 minutes, how long is that going to carry you through? It'll probably get in 3 weeks' time, if they're called upon to make a start in the Premier League. A couple of weeks' time, if they're needed in the first
You're thinking, really, when you're getting a performance, when you're getting an appearance in the EFL, when you're not playing in the Premier League, I think it's a little bit to appease you and to keep you happy in the squad. It's nothing to do with match fitness.
You don't think it's going to keep you
No, I think you've got under 23 games, you've got organised friendlies, you've got the training schedule, you've got highly monitored professional training sessions where your levels are high. Yes, you're not going to be match in the mode, but this game is not going to get you fitness.
So it's appeasing the fringe players for 3 or 4 weeks.
Well, I think it is. I think it keeps. I mean, Bernd Leno, for example, if he doesn't get a game all season because the number 1 goalkeeper plays, he won't feel part of things. He's got a competition to win now, and Leno will be the goalkeeper in the final of this if they get to the final. So when I say appease, I don't mean that he's like sort of just palming them off saying, I'll give you that. He's saying there's an opportunity. There's an opportunity, but that opportunity is only going to come every 3 weeks. And if you don't do enough in that opportunity, unfortunately, you're not going to break in. No. But it's that carrot. It's that carrot that keeps dangling in front of the players.
Carrot and the stick. It's an old trick, but it does work.
It does work, normally the stick with me, that's what I just get beat with, but it works.
Look, when you win, and it is a disjointed performance, it's not the most exciting, it's not free-flowing, you haven't created stacks of chances, but you do get through comfortably. That's quite a good sign, isn't it?
Yeah, I would be going home happy with my teammates, be buzzing about the fact that, listen, we don't play together much, we ain't played, but you know what, we got a result tonight against a decent Leeds side. Yes, we're at home, but at home brings pressure. You know, there's 40, 50,000 people in the stadium tonight. I know 6,000 of them were Leeds and they made themselves well heard. Fair play to them. But there's still a pressure on these games. They come through it. They can all get in their cars, drive home and feel that they've done a good job tonight.
Good night's work, David.
Yeah,
much like
absolutely.
yourself. Right, what's the second thing that we learned this evening here at Emirates Stadium? It is that Eddie Nketiah continued his terrific goal-scoring record in cup competitions. He does keep delivering. That's 2 in 2 in the Carabao Cup so far this season. Phoenix says, can always rely on Nketiah to score in a Carabao Cup game. He's almost a goal a game, I think, in this competition. Dare to Wenger says the League Cup specialist Eddie Nketiah scores again to make it 2-0. Good performance by the boys. And Stephen Coulter, Nketiah got lucky there. We were laughing in a similar style to that emoji. Good touch over the keeper though. I mean, let's for people out there that maybe weren't able to see the goal, it's 3 bad headers, isn't it? So the goal kick comes up to Eddie Nketiah. It's come off the 50p of his head.
He wants to head it left and he heads it right, doesn't he? Yeah.
Then a Leeds player heads it back towards their own goal. That's awful. And then another Leeds defender heads it back to his keeper.
Tries
and
to
it's
help it onto the
undercooked.
keeper.
But from there, Eddie did ever so well.
Yeah, it's pace. It's pace, commitment, and bravery. Because when you're faced with a keeper coming at you, and they're always bigger than the outfield players anyway, but we know keepers smash you. And he's brave enough. I think he knocked it into the ground.
It was a
Or did he flick it?
I think it was a flick over the top.
Was it a flick over the top? I thought he sort of banged it there. But yeah, so he gets it quite high, doesn't he? And then it's coming down, and I'm thinking, it's on his left foot as well, and he's not his strongest foot. He's going to have to take his first touch with that. That was lovely. Come across, shin pad, wasn't it? Shin pad.
Well, in the press box, I've got to be honest, they were saying that was a Hillier-like finish.
It was.
Everyone
it was.
around me was saying
No,
that.
do you know what? I always hit the ball in the side netting. Ian Wright taught me that. And whether it's with your shin or your elbow, it don't matter, Clarkie, because they all count.
I'm just kidding. It was an absolute shinner, wasn't it? Let's be honest.
But it deserved to go in. You know, I felt like it deserved to go in for the effort.
He did brilliantly to get there.
Yeah,
He did absolutely brilliantly.
And he put in the whole shift in the game.
Yeah.
Fair play to the manager as well. The manager did have an opportunity to substitute him, but he didn't. Yeah, he brought Lacazette on, but he didn't take Eddie off. So you know,
I was pleased for Eddie tonight. I think he was neat and tidy. He deserved his goal for his application, for his work rate. On the flip side, I don't want to turn this into a negative, but we talked ahead of kick-off and we said, look, who's ahead in the pecking order to be the next striker to play? Would it be Martinelli? Would it be Eddie Nketiah? We, I think, both agreed Martinelli was next in line.
Yeah.
He didn't get the chance to play up top tonight. He was on the left. Did he miss his chance to impress tonight? He was very quiet, I thought.
I think he missed probably his chance to impress. He doesn't, but with that performance, he doesn't step out of the role that I gave him, the next in line role. It doesn't take him out of that positioning. I thought he endeavoured really to succeed really well in the first half an hour. Thought he nearly nicked the ball a couple of times. He was on the front foot, but again, he's on the outside looking in a lot of the time. You need players like that are quick and mobile in the middle of the pitch. You need him where he can do the damage. And in a 4-4-2, we saw him do it a little bit more in the second half. Play the two forwards come around each other, made it a little bit more comfortable for the team. But again, little bits of lacking of quality. Pepe today, I think, probably by his own admission, would have been a 5 or a 6 out of 10. With the amount of ball he had, I don't think he really got past the fullback at all after the first 10 minutes. And it's a shame because this competition's been great for him as well. He's been a really good player in it. Yeah,
it was a tough game for the forward players. I don't think it was that free-flowing affair that made it easy for them to shine. But yeah, some more successful than others, no question about that. Right, last but not least, what's the third thing we learned from tonight's 2-0 win against Leeds United? It is Arsenal's set-piece power is becoming a weapon. You talked about it, Dave. Let's get to some of the tweets first, actually. Harvey Downs, 4 goals from corners in our last 3 games. First time since 2008, Arsenal scored a goal from a corner in 3 consecutive matches. But we never score from corners, that's what everyone says. B-Star says, is it just me or our corners players been better recently even when defending them? I don't think that's unfair. And no, Mabandia, Smith Rowe's corners are very effective. No question. I mean, Cedric took some good corners tonight.
And it's been a feature from the last 3 games, I'd say. Even against Palace, although the performance wasn't good, we delivered some decent balls in the area against Palace. The Villa game, some of the best deliveries I've seen, consistent deliveries. And again tonight, the corners were quite good, but maybe some of the balls in. And that's a little bit where Martinelli lets me down. He gets in them great positions and it's always cut back low towards a near post. But you picked up on it. Sometimes he's just not got the options in the box. So what do? You've got 3 players closing you down, you're running off the pitch. So that part of it went great, but certainly set pieces
were
fantastic.
good. Yeah, we scored 5 goals from set pieces in the Premier League this season. That is actually a joint high in the top division. So Arsenal are right up there. I'll tell you what's changed. Less short corners. I mean, you think back, we've had so many short corners where nothing really happens. You change the angle. I get why managers do it, but it wasn't working for us. And we simplified it.
That's it.
I think every corner right now is going to the near post. Now, other teams might suss that out, but if the delivery is right at the near post, and me and David know about this because
what other teams
we
do.
played for George Graham and we used to practice it over and over.
Yeah.
Bruce Rioch did too. I was one that had to swing them in, 20, 30 a session. If you can get it right, they're hard to defend.
Oh, absolutely. It doesn't matter if the team's set up to defend it. It's all in the first run. So we saw Partey twice in the game get across the near post and obviously one ended up in a goal. But dipping the ball in that area, because if the first person don't get it, there's always a melee after that in the area. It's something that the keeper can't defend. Yeah. And what he's done is he's taken away the option of free play from a set piece. We see a lot of fluidity in the side anyway, and a lot of players being able to make their own decisions. Fine. We used to call them flair players, and we was only allowed to have 1 or 2 in a team because if you get too many of them, there's too many people making their own decisions. So he simplified it. There's only 2 decisions to make. It goes near or far. We saw one go really far, which was a great corner.
We did.
But it simplifies
But
it.
for the goal, if anyone hasn't seen it, I think it was aimed towards the near post. It took a flick, maybe from a defender, to Pepe at the far stick. Now, Pepe didn't have the greatest game tonight, but he did guide it.
He put it back into
really
the right
nicely.
area.
Just sort of looped it back across goal for Calum Chambers, who nods it in. Meslier in goal is sort of behind the line, isn't it? And there was slight hesitation. We weren't sure if it was over the line or not, but the man next to me here said, "That's a goal. That's a goal."
I was on it, yeah.
Yeah, your eyesight's better than mine.
Yeah, well, I can't read from that far away, but I can certainly see from 50, 60 metres. But what I liked about the goal as well, and I called it out to you in the celebrations, didn't I?
Yeah.
Was Ramsdale off the bench, going absolutely crazy, run on the pitch, hugging Calum Chambers, high-fiving everyone, and that's great. What a player. How must he feel? He must feel so part of that squad. That he ain't playing today, he's on the bench, whatever, he's not really going to get a game, but he wants to win so badly with those boys.
That celebration, it made me just as happy as the actual goal itself, because the whole team,
all of them,
sort of were together, weren't they? And we've seen that a lot lately, actually. It does feel as if, look, things aren't perfect. From a tactical perspective, things can improve. It's definitely a work in progress. But the spirit of the team, when you look at the goal celebrations, I think is there for all to see. And look, that is never a bad thing.
Yeah, you can only expect your team to put in the effort and try and play their best when they play, right? And fans and that always appreciate, but players appreciate it from each other. And you see that at times like this. Arsenal at the moment are not the best team in the league. They have not got the best players in the league. Let's face it, it's simple, they're not that. But what they have got the ability to do is when they play really well together and the best that they can play, they can achieve big things. And they can achieve things, and they've got to do that. And tonight's game sees them go into the next stage with this group of players, and I think it's all adding to the belief. The belief at the end of the day can be an extra player in your side. It's like having a 12th man. And when you're operating outside the top 3 clubs, you need a 12th man. Leeds is their fans. Ours is the confidence and the camaraderie that Arsenal players have, and that is definitely apparent at the moment. And I think fans have got to take that on board, that we are that team at the moment. That is our level. But at the moment, we're playing to our level and we're playing a little bit above it, which is nice.
We've got our eyes on the prize, haven't we? I think, particularly in this cup competition, the FA Cup, of course, which is our cup. We are the record winners of the FA Cup. That doesn't kick in until January. So look, even though we're not in Europe, bit of interest from at least the week before Christmas onwards in the cup competitions. That's what you can ask for. David, top man tonight.
Been great, mate.
Appreciate it. Great to have you on the Breakdown Live. Thanks to everyone for watching. Brilliant commentary as always from Dan Roebuck and Perry Groves. We'll be back for another Breakdown Live on Saturday. It's Leicester City away. It's a very different type of Breakdown Live that we've got for you at the weekend. Myself and Dan Roebuck will be at the stadium. We'll be at the King Power Stadium in the commentary box. We'll do the show beforehand, half an hour before the game, and then I'll stick around for commentary. So, a little bit different, but we'll be right there in the heart of the action. Please do join us from 12 o'clock on Arsenal.com or on the app. Thanks for watching tonight. Arsenal 2, Leeds United now roll on the quarter-finals.
Get closer to the club you love with My Arsenal Rewards. My Arsenal Rewards
is our new program for Arsenal members.